Hi everybody, it's me, Kayla. I just wanted to go ahead and point out that it has been really great getting to know all of you these past 4 weeks, and I've really enjoyed the class as a whole. So to finish us off with our final discussion board are questions and answers that we have. So some questions that I did still have regarding program and or teaching is one of my biggest concerns, because I know that a lot of us may currently be looking for a teaching job. And since we're in the process of getting our credential, it looks a little different for us than those of us who already have our credential. So my question is if I end up getting a job and somebody wants to sign me on, where do I go from there with the school? Like, is there paperwork stuff that I need to do? And then my second question to go along with that is that, does it change my program in any type of way? Because I know right now I'm kind of under like a traditional student teacher program. So would it change much because I'm then under a type of internship? And how does that, what's the difference there if I like do a PIP or a STIP? I'm not really sure about the differences between those. I need to research those a little bit more. The other concern that I had, especially with the program, is sim schools. I don't know if anybody else had any difficulty with it, but I did notice that it took a lot of energy for my computer to run the program, and it often lagged out, which caused me to not really be able to engage with my classroom because my screen would freeze. And so on my chart, it would show that like my engagement went way up and my effectiveness was amazing, and then I would just crash for like the last 10 to 5 to 10 minutes of the class. So I didn't know if anybody else was having that same issue, or if they were, how did you fix it? Just a couple of concerns there. And then with teaching, my two greatest concerns that I have, that I'm sure a lot of people also are concerned about, or maybe you have answers, is meeting standards. I know that that's like a big thing, is really pushing standards and content and making sure that kids pass their assessments. But I know that since we're all getting social and emotional learning degrees, that it's not all about the standards, but that's still a big concern of mine, because I want my kids to be socially and emotionally fit in the classroom, but I also want them to be able to understand the academics as well. On top of that, I think one of my biggest concerns is parent communication. I know that makes me really nervous, but being able to handle conferences, I'm not really sure how to go about that. I've engaged with a couple of parents with substituting, and I felt like it wasn't really my place to engage with them, but there was like a couple of circumstances where the school had me contact them, and that was really nerve-wracking. So if anybody has any like advice on how to handle parent communication, especially coming to conferences, because I feel that I can be as prepared as I want to be, but the second I have to sit down for a parent conference, I feel like I'm not going to know what I'm doing. Aside from all the concerns and worries, I did want to point out a few things that I felt I really learned, and answers that I found, and things that just I feel more confident about, especially just within the first class. So one of the first ones was because of my credential packet, learned how to register for my CSET. I know that seemed like a pretty easy task, but I've been sitting on it for quite a while and not really having the confidence to go through with it yet. But because the course requires you to do that before you continue on to IT 604 or ITL 604, I ended up doing it. So kind of got my foot in the door there and figured out how to do that. Second off, one of the first projects that we had to do in class was to go over the catalog, and I felt that was very informational and very helpful, especially because more often than not, we get into these programs, we don't really know what we're doing, we're just trying to get our work done. But I love that an assignment was created in order for you to learn about your catalog and the courses that you'll be taking and who you need to talk to. So now I know, like, if I have any questions, I know who to go to ask all those questions. And it's been really great. National University has been very helpful, and I'm sure all of you can agree that everybody's constantly reaching out to you, making sure you have everything that you need, and I have found that to be just so amazing. So I also feel that within this course, within these past 4 weeks, I feel a lot more knowledgeable and definitely a lot more confident in my ideas and knowledge about social and emotional learning. I kind of signed up for it because it was the one that sounded the most interesting, didn't really know what I was getting myself into. And then I started taking the course and realized this is literally like what I love to do. I know so much more about it, and it's definitely how I want to run my classroom. So I feel like I definitely made the right choice. Sim schools, aside from the crashing, has definitely helped me. I know that with learning how to set up your classroom and run things, like students can get really confused. So I feel like sim schools helped me learn a lot about scaffolding, which is a technique that we'll be using quite often in the classroom. And then lastly, with the course, especially this one, I feel a lot more culturally aware, and especially about myself. Like I felt culturally aware of others around me, but it really made me aware of myself and how I can be different, but I'm not going to let that be a barrier for coworkers, parents, students, anybody. But that's just a few of my little bits of input, my questions and concerns, and I'm looking forward to answering your questions, and good luck on your guys' next course.